Hey YouTube, Simple Life Prepper here, and today is Friday, May the 22nd, and on Fridays we're going to start doing a new segment. It's going to be like the weekly wrap-up. It's going to have a little bit of news, it's going to have a little bit of craziness because my husband's here with me. Anyway, so I'll start by introducing us. I am Debbie, and this is Mark, my husband, and anyway, this is our new segment, and we're going to see how it goes, and it should be fun, so stay tuned. So welcome everybody, and thanks for viewing, and please consider subscribing and liking and sharing the video, and please comment as you see fit. So today is Friday, May the 22nd, and we're going to start off. I'm going to start off, so we both have questions. I have news questions. I don't know what Mark has, but we'll find out. So today I was watching Cuomo.
Oh, my favorite guy.
Yeah, from New York, the governor of New York, and I always like to watch his briefings because they can be kind of informational. So they're informational. Anyway, he threw out a bunch of stuff today, and so I have like 4 things he threw out. So I'm gonna see what you think about them. Okay, the first thing, I have notes here. So anyway, notes. Sorry. Anyway, the first thing he threw out was that the COVID came here. It came from Europe and not China, and it came in January or February. So what do you think about that?
I don't believe anything a politician says, myself personally, but I would have to say it started in China. I'd have to say it was an accident. I don't think it was just naturally occurring myself. But, you know, everything Trump says, they're going to make it sound like they don't like it. It's got to, if he calls it the Wahoo, whatever it is, Wuhan, it's going to be, you know, they're going to say he's a racist and all that stuff. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that Cuomo would say that it was from Europe instead. I mean, why would that even make you, he's probably happy whenever he said it too, was he?
I don't know if he was happy or not, but you know from our personal experience that we really think it was going around the U.S. back in November, because I was deathly sick the end of November over Thanksgiving.
Very bad.
I had 103 temp, and I'm trying to figure out if I can get the antibody test, because I'd be interested to know if I have any antibodies in my system, because I've never ran a fever in my whole adult life, and I ran like 103 for like a week straight. I had that dry cough for like 8 weeks, off and on. It would come and go and come and go, and anyway, it was horrible. I've never been that sick in my whole adult life. So anyway, I feel like, and other people from our area have told me the same thing, that they think they had it back then.
We walk around town. Before we even went into lockdown, we would be walking around Walmart and everything. Everybody's like, what's the big deal? You know, it's, you know, if you're worried about something, we had something back in November and December. And we would say, yeah, we had it too. It was terrible. Mm-hmm. I had shortness of breath. Everything that this COVID is supposed to have. I had the same symptoms in a different way. I didn't have the fever, but I had shortness of breath, hard to breathe. You had the fever for, you'd have it for a couple of days, you'd think it was getting better. Then it would come back, and then you fought it for how long?
Well, I had the fever for like a week straight. But I had that cough. I had cough for 3 weeks. It would go away, and then I'd have it for 2 weeks, and it would go away, and then I'd have it for 3 weeks. So,
yeah, it was a long period of time. Mm-hmm. It was horrific. Now, if they're worried about COVID-19, why weren't they worried about whatever that was that you tested for? It came back negative. You did not have the flu.
Did not have the flu. You did not have the flu.
So why was that really bad? Half the town had it. And the CDC wasn't here going, what the heck is that? You know? What? And nobody, they just said, nope, you just don't have the flu. Go home. Deal with it. Mm-hmm. That's it. I mean, I found that kind of strange.
Yeah. So anyway, I feel like the end of the year last year, it was already going around. But Cuomo says that it came from Europe, not China, in January, February. But that's because the European flights come into New York is why he's saying that. So second of all, he's also saying that the antibodies don't necessarily mean that you're immune once you have the antibodies. So he's saying that they don't know that. So anyway, That's what he said today. He's also saying that now children may be infected. They had that
Of course.
strange rash going on. Okay.
Whatever.
And now they're saying that infected surfaces may not be a major source of transmission. It may be mostly airborne, so wear your mask. So,
the last one I might believe. That's out of all of them. That's about the only one I might believe is. I don't think it's that contagious. Can I tell you my theory on that?
Yeah, sure.
I put out a poll on Facebook saying, how many of my friends have COVID-19? Not one friend. I specifically said, I don't care if you know somebody that has COVID-19. I just wanted to know from my friends who had it, who didn't. Not one person came back. A couple of people came back and said, oh, I know somebody. I go, well, I don't. It's not part of my poll. I just want to know if you have it. And I have people that travel for a living. And out of those people, they were all traveling during the months whenever it should have been spreading. And not one of them has it. And they get on airplanes and so on and so forth. So if it was super contagious, would you not think that let's say just out of 100 people that actually still listen to me on Facebook, out of 100, I should know, 10, 5, 3, something to tell me that this is contagious. Take it serious. We're getting it, But I had not one person that had it. So I don't believe what the politicians are telling me. I don't believe anything. I like to believe what I can see. I think whatever we had, November and December, that was something. Because everybody in town, you could walk around town, they all were saying, oh yeah, we had it. Oh yeah, it was terrible. Blah, blah.
Yeah, we're down for 2 weeks. We're this, that.
That's things that I can see, people telling me what's going on. So yeah, I think the flu was really bad at the beginning of the year. But COVID-19, until a lot of my friends, start getting it, I just don't believe the government. I believe it's something. I believe it could be, like you say, it could have been what was going around November, December, and they just didn't know it yet. And, or they're using that, you're like, oh, it's a bad flu season, so let's call it, let's start this, and, it's definitely political, in my opinion, the COVID-19. But that's just my opinion. Don't anybody take any advice from me. Do your own research. That's all I gotta say. People get mad at me for doing my own research.
Yeah,
they're mad. They're like,
mad.
oh my, that's just your personal opinion. I'm like, no, that's my study that I did. And my study came back saying it's not that very contagious if nobody I know has it. If it was contagious, you start talking 1/3 of the people that I know are getting sick from it, but nobody. Okay. That's enough.
So anyway, that's one, and I just have one more point to say is that on that point is I'm going to be going over this whole part about the November December thing, because I'm going to start a segment on Tuesdays. It's called Conspiracy Tuesdays. So it's just conspiracies. It's not facts. It's not anything. It's not what I'm saying is true. It's not what I'm saying isn't true. It's just the conspiracies that we see out in the world. So anyway, Conspiracy Tuesday. So look forward to that. So now it's Mark's time. So everybody be scared. Be very afraid.
All right, here we go. First question. Okay. So far, you're into your show for a couple of weeks. What's your take so far?
I like doing it. I'm getting more comfortable talking to the camera. I know some of my videos are kind of rough, but I'm trying. I'm still new to this, and just I enjoy it. It gives me something to do, because both me and Mark are sort of basically not working at this particular moment, although we have been fortunate to still be getting paid so far. So we are blessed in that capacity. So
I'm not complaining right yet. I mean, I'm complaining that I'm not working, but but I think you've been doing really good. I think we just got started. It didn't matter, the set wasn't perfect yet. things weren't good. But if you just don't get started, I think you would have just been an idea still. Like we'll do it next week.
I've thought about it. Probably for a year or two, I've thought about starting my own YouTube channel, and I watch a lot of people on YouTube. I marvel at all the people on YouTube that it is so easy for them just to sit and talk to the camera. I marvel at that, and
the time and effort.
Yes,
and editing.
And then I know, like when I see edited shots and I see two cameras or going back and forth from video to the person, I know that takes a lot of work. I understand how much work that takes. So anyway, I marvel at it. I'm working on it, trying.
Yeah, and so I think you're doing much better each time and getting more comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah,
and I've been liking it. I think you give a just down to earth approach, perspective of things.
Thank you.
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah. That's what I'm going
Plus
with.
You look cute on camera.
Oh, well, you're awful sweet. All right, so is that the end of your question?
Yep, that's my question one.
All right, well, we're not numbering them, so we're going back and
on to the next one.
On to the next one.
I don't like the numbering.
Yeah, he doesn't like the numbering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He doesn't like that. It's just
like number 1.
Anyway, okay.
Number 2.
No,
just
stop.
On to the next.
All right, so my next question has to do with, it's not really a question, it's just the news. So to discuss. So the CDC has come out with, on May the 19th of 2020, with the considerations that schools should take for reopening. And I will probably be doing a video on that whole thing because it's 7 pages long of stuff for the schools to reopen and to consider reopen.
Right.
But they have this little handy chart. You can find it on the CDC page. You can find it on the CDC page, and it tells you everything that you need to know about reopening. So, anyway, to me, I find that and Trump thinks that schools should open. So, he thinks they should. Now, the problem's going to be if you open and then somebody comes down with the COVID, then you're going to have to shut down for 3 days, I think it says, to evaluate and everything else. And so anyway, I think I'm going to do a whole show on that. But, we have to get our kids back in school.
Have to have a future. We had the ability to go to school. I mean, there was flus. There was, right before I was born, polio was there. School never stopped. I mean, school, what gets me are the older people that are like, we can't go back to school and everything like that. They all got to go to school. They all got to go to their graduation. They all got to experience it. And they all got to, let's say a high school football player, for instance. His junior year of football might have sucked, but his senior year might be his blowout season. He could get a scholarship, and the rest of his life is altered if he doesn't get to play his senior year. What gives us the right to stop? I know people are like, oh, well, you got to save the children. But children are not affected by this. Oh, well, you got to save the teachers. Well, if you're an older teacher, then maybe they get paid leave, and we throw a teacher in there that, wants to teach, that's younger. But, keep giving the older teacher a paycheck and give them something to do at home. Maybe they can grade. I don't know, whatever. I just think we can't steal our young people. And then also the people just graduating from college.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's very sad.
They have to get started in life. And, call me crazy. Call me heartless. But, it's just life, man. We got to get on. We got to keep going. This is America. This isn't China. Whatever. Okay. It's not one of those countries.
Yes.
We don't stop. America is not afraid. We do our due diligence, but we move on. Let's get back. I've got one thing.
Okay.
And they talk about phases. I have one good, instead of pages and pages of rules and how many people can go to church. One phase. Open.
See what happens.
I've been telling you that since the beginning.
Yeah. See what happens.
We shouldn't have closed. But now that they want to reopen, we flatten the curve. Open. No rules.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Work with what happens.
Yeah. And we're older, right?
Mhm.
I don't want to rob the younger people for my safety.
Yeah, I think it's really sad what they did to the seniors this year. Seniors of high school, seniors of college,
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah, yeah.
You know, they totally lost their experiences of those
Yeah.
senior things that they get to do. So anyway, I do think that. But I just wanted everybody to know that all the CDC has all the regulations that they have for schools to reopen and everything, and it came out May 19th. So we'll have to see. Now, one more point on that.
You probably can give me more info on what you think because you actually do teach.
Well, the one thing.
Tell me.
There's one other thing I want to throw in here is because, I was sick in February. It was a bad winter for sickness for me. Anyway, I had that in November. Well, in January, last part of January, I ran a fever again for a couple of days. And when I went in, they told me it was the flu, but they didn't. They were out of flu tests. So they couldn't give me the test for flu. And our school actually closed for, I think, 2 days.
Yeah, it was really bad.
We had a snow day, and then we went ahead and closed the rest of the week so that we could reset and get people back to school. And it really did help. So maybe we just have to open, and if we have to close, we have to close for a few days.
Well, I'm thinking, too, if, obviously some people might be, with people sue happy and everything these days. Mm-hmm. Which is ridiculous, but I think there should be a statement at the beginning. If you feel that your child is not safe going back to daycare or school, then
maybe we need to give both options. Well, maybe we need to have a online.
They don't have to. I know they don't have to bring their kids yet if they don't think it's safe. But I'm sure there's a lot of parents out there like, man, they're gonna get sick.
Yeah.
We're not being bad parents, but, they're going to come down with the cough, the flu. That's what kids get. They all go out. So I think instead of do your due diligence, which you did already. You guys were already hand sanitizing.
Oh, yeah.
Way before.
Yeah, way every year.
It's just part of the rules. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you really need to change anything. I just think, keep an eye out. Maybe take the kids' temperatures.
Yeah, we may have to take their temperature when they come in.
That's not that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. But other than taking temperatures, and I know they can be asymptomatic, but whatever. I don't think they should go through jumping hoops and trying to keep 2-year-olds 6 feet apart. It ain't going to happen, man.
No, it's not. I'm in a preschool, so I actually am in the parents' day out room. So I have 2 and 3-year-olds, and then we have a preschool. So, yeah, you're going to have to. And I think all these guidelines are for kindergarten through 12th grade. So it doesn't really address preschools, and it doesn't address colleges.
I mean, one kid's going to pick up a toy. Mm-hmm. The next kid's going to take that toy and just lick it. You know what I mean?
Happens all the time in our room.
Then the parents can't come back at you guys and say, "Oh my God, my kid touched that." Then you let my kid lick that, and it's like, no. So if you're afraid, just don't bring your kids back to school.
So maybe they need to open schools, but have a secondary plan. If you're not comfortable with them coming back, they can do online stuff. Yeah, and that would cut down on the number of people that are at school.
I bet in Oklahoma they'd all be going to school.
They probably will be.
Nobody's.
Yeah.
We'll just deal with what we got and make the best of it. I don't think for the majority of people in Oklahoma, we're ready to move on and we're ready to just live.
We are. So.
All right. Are we moving on?
We're moving on.
No numbers.
No numbers.
All right. Okay, back to your show. This is another.
No. Set
design. I kind of took over.
Yes.
With just what we had. Because it was during the middle of the virus. So we redid the some parts of our house and we had some extra supplies. So we did what we did with what we had. But are you content with so far your set, or would you
I
have
am
done?
content.
Would you have done anything differently?
No, I am content, and
All
I
right.
like it since now we have a few pictures up on my set. So, and I have some other things that I can trade out depending on what I'm talking about and everything. So, I am happy. Are you liking your new set?
I took over this wall and just
It's
made
okay.
it kind of a guy, kind of a set for the interview couch.
Yeah.
But it, it is what it is. And
I'm happy.
I like it. So it's not a bland wall anymore. It's got a little bit going on there.
It is.
It was all
good.
cheap.
Yeah.
Big lots, $5 a sign or something like that.
One of these days,
$7 to $5 a sign. Not bad.
Edit up you building your sets, or maybe I'll do that today and put it over top of this video. Right. I'm not sure what I'm doing with that.
Well, that's
yours. Okay.
That's my question.
All right. So I have a few things about Trump. Now, Trump says we're not going to close the country again if there's a second wave of coronavirus. We're not going to do it. We're not going to close the country if there's a second wave. So, anyway, okay.
I'm all for it.
Another thing is Trump says that churches need to get back open.
Absolutely.
So,
you know what's ticking me off right now? Is you hear in some states, like, only 10 people
can go to church.
That's ridiculous to begin with.
Outside, even if it's outside.
Some of them are outside. Yeah. I don't know. And then, but other ones are like you can go to a bar or something like that, and a total of 50 people can go to a bar.
Yeah.
In the same state, it's like whether you're religious or not. I mean, you would think that the bar people would be like, well, if we can have 50, then just let the church people have 50 also.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But
yeah,
that's
your take.
What's your take?
My take is that I went to church last Sunday, so
I know you were looking really forward to it too.
Well, anyway, I won't say how many people we had in church last Sunday. We actually recognized the seniors that graduated this year.
That's good.
It was a good thing. But they were really careful. I'll have to say that they were really careful. They had every other pew blocked off. You couldn't sit on it. And most families sit together. So they're together anyway at their house. And nobody shook hands. We didn't pass the peace or anything like that. So no shaking hands, nothing like that. So it was really safe. It was it was like 45 minutes long. And it was good.
From what I gathered, the congregation was ready to get back at it too, weren't they?
They were.
That's good.
And they're not having Sunday school or anything like that yet. So
You're sitting in a pew,
worshiping God. So
it's not like in a restaurant whenever somebody comes by and takes your order, and there's people whizzing by your table back and forth. I mean, once you get there and you get sit down in your pew. There's you pass some people getting in there. You pass some people getting out. I've been holding my breath. I don't, that's only to be polite. If I'm passing somebody, even if I have a mask on or anything like that, I just hold my breath, not for me, just so I don't exhale on somebody as I go on by.
Yes.
So, I mean, if somebody gets close to you, I don't know if that's, anything or not, but I figure if you don't breathe out, then you're not bothering.
I wore a mask in and took it off while we were worshiping, and I wore it on the way out. But some people told me, get that mask off because you can't breathe your own air or something like that. It's bad for your health and all this kind of stuff. So there's all kinds of stories going around. But I try to be respectful of other people's views, and so I wear a mask if I'm going into the store.
I wouldn't tell anybody to take off their mask, but I would be one. I'm glad to hear people saying, take that mask off. Let's live again. I'm not offended by the people. In fact, I kind of like that people were saying, get the mask off, man. Let's get on with life, man. You look like a doofus, man. It's like, we never wore a mask. 100 years this church is, I don't know.
I know.
Some of the people are very old in our church, and we want to respect them and everything. Those are the people probably that were telling you
and
to take off
they
the mask.
still, they went live on Facebook, so the older congregation.
Oh,
They
stay
could
at
still
home.
stay
Yeah,
home
yeah, yeah.
and
Again,
be safe.
it's if I was old and I wanted to go to church and I could get affected and die, I would still want that right
to go if
to
you
go.
wanted to.
And I wouldn't feel bad about anybody there that wasn't wearing a mask or anything. I wouldn't be offended because it was my idea to go risk going to church.
Yeah.
Everybody just needs to chill a little bit and quit being offended, And if you are scared, you have every right. I'm not opposed of anybody that's scared either. They have a right to be scared.
Yeah,
and
they have a right to be scared, and if they're worried about it, they can stay home.
And my theory is, I could die. There's 0.00 whatever percent, but I'm willing to take the chance to just live normal. That's my own.
Yeah,
my own choice. Nobody feel bad if I get COVID. I'm sure there's a couple people out there that are like, Mark, you're not taking this serious, and they get done chatting with me on Facebook. I'm sure they're all like, oh, I hope he gets it. Just to prove a point, it's like, oh, So yeah, there's some people I would actually be happy if I got COVID-19. That's how crazy this time is. All right.
All right.
My turn?
Yep.
All right. Let's see here. Number 3.
Yep. He's doing worse than me.
All right. No more numbers.
Oh, no more numbers.
The one thing that bothers me, I do. Okay. So, earlier this year, well, whenever COVID started, we wanted to kill some time, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And you wanted to paint.
Oh, I wanted to paint
the living room.
I wanted to paint the living room.
How did the painting go?
No. So I wanted to paint the living room. So Mark's going to spackle up the cracks. The next thing I know.
I tried.
Yes, he did try. He did good. He's really good at it, but he doesn't like to paint. So the next thing I know, I come into the living room and there's a big hole in my wall. And so the next thing, so we decided we were going to panel, and we totally ripped out the one wall. So it was a big mess.
The wall that had the crack.
Yes.
Thinking from, our ground here shifts a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So thinking that the crack was that.
And it wasn't.
I started to find out why this crack is so perfectly straight. Well, whenever your dad remodeled, there was a window there, and it was regular drywall on that, old plaster and the sheathing on the other side, and the crack was going. So no matter what, it would always stressed right there. So instead of just doing it and having to redo it and redo it and redo it, I just decided to bust a hole and find out what was going on, and then it led to other. What did it lead to?
Well, we tore out that whole wall, which we had an archway between the living room and the dining room.
60s, 50 arch.
So we squared off the arch and tore the whole wall out, and we paneled the whole living room and the whole dining room, and now everything looks the same in there, and it's beautiful. I love that room, and it's so clean.
And it kept our mind off of...
It did. 3 weeks we worked on that project, and it gave us a purpose and something to do, and we didn't spend a ton of money.
And we live moderate. We don't like to...
Yeah.
I mean, we all want really nice stuff. I mean, if somebody gave me a really nice new house, I'd take it, right? But, I mean, we don't want to spend all our money on stuff, so we didn't spend that much money.
We didn't spend that much money.
And it really turned out...
It did. It's good. Really charming.
And it is better for whenever people come into our house.
Yeah.
That they're not just opening up and seeing a 50s, 60s style house anymore. Well, it looks good now. And it's very nice.
We always had one wall that was paneled. And then my brilliance, I painted all the other walls, except for the middle wall with the arch. I painted it a different color. So there was like 3 different things going on.
It was busy.
It was very busy. So anyway, now it's not. I even had the phase. The first phase was I went through there and painted it all red. Remember the red?
Yeah, I hated the red.
We had red everywhere.
It was too dark.
Red.
It was dark. It was something that you might see in like a really colonial fancy house, right?
Well, I like it now because it's all paneling and everything matches throughout the whole
it's warm and
living
cozy.
And dining room. It's beautiful. So
not too busy anymore.
Not too busy
all
anymore.
Right, that was mine.
Okay, So, we have people on Facebook. There's like a new post going around, and it's telling people if you get the tracing app on your phone, delete me out of your phone contacts.
Yeah. I saw that the other day.
Yeah, I've seen several people have posted it and everything. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the whole tracing thing?
Well, I wouldn't get it. But, it's again, I don't even know if it's real. That if it's the government or Google or who's actually...
Or if there is actually an app, or if they're just talking about getting an app.
Or is it just opening for them to track? And I'm not, we don't do anything. They can track us all they want.
They would be bored to death.
No. yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, we went to have a burger. Ooh, But whatever. So they're going to scare people to say, oh, this way we can tell you if this person in this restaurant had it. And again, I'm over it. I just want to move on, take my chances. Then they'll be like, well, if you know, then you won't spread it to any... It's better not to know. Just go on and live, and we don't need to be known.
Yeah, we
if
don't
I
go
start
that
getting
many places.
sick, I will stay at home.
Yeah, people know who we are. If we did come in contact with us, they could
rumors fly around. They'd be like, oh, did you hear that somebody at the...
I meant what? The church would know I attended church that Sunday, so they would tell me.
They would email you.
Yeah.
Say, hey, somebody had it. Just to FYI.
Yeah. But, quarantine for 14 days.
Yeah. Keep an eye on yourself.
So, anyway, that's mine.
All right.
That's the thing on Facebook floating around is about rating people. Stop.
Okay.
Oh.
This, we kind of touched on this. I always like to say, you married a guy that was raised by a man that went through the Depression as a child.
Yes.
Then World War II, ex-Marine. Henri.
Yeah.
Great guy. What's it been like? And now he taught me to live within my means. Because he grew up in the Depression and he kept everything. And his personality I got from him. What's it been like living with a man that was raised by a dad that grew up in the Depression and was an ex-Marine during World War II?
Oh, well, it's been good. Yeah, I have to say, right? We are still married. 26 years, almost 27, I guess. It seems like we've been married 26 years for like 5 years now. But anyway.
You've never bought the best cars.
No.
Never lived in a super fancy house with one of those really tall roofs.
Yeah, no, we don't have a tall roof. But everything that we have is paid for. So, Any
regrets?
No regrets. No regrets.
Each year that's gone by probably gets a little bit easier.
It's good. I'm content now.
Yeah,
I'm very content now, and everything's cool. And like I said, we don't owe anybody any money. And we can say, I mean, I really think we're entering another depression. I think that's what
everything's
this
paid
all
off
is.
for.
I think that's what this is all about.
I like whenever your friends say, how can you drive around that old Mitsubishi Mighty Max truck? And you're like, are you embarrassed? And you're like, no. Why? Should I be? So that was my question.
Okay. So, along with that, because I do think that hard times are coming. So if you do have any debt and you do have the ability to get some of that paid down, that would be my advice to anybody right now, because I think jobs are going to be hard. I think the whole way that we do things is changing, and I think a lot of things, we're going to be surprised at a lot of things that come down the pike. So, and along with that is meat prices are soaring right now. We're entering a solar minimum, which means the sun is doing freaky things, and so I think there will be food shortages. There's going to be job shortages. I think a lot of things are coming down the pipe.
You sure it's just not another blown out of proportion, scare you thing?
I think everything
it doesn't fit the global warming thing, so that's kind of got to get a little needle in them if it does happen. We'll see. I don't believe it until it happens.
Yeah, but I think food shortages are coming. They may
that might be the case whether there's a solar minimum or not.
Okay. I think the solar minimum is not coming from the deep people. The deep people.
No, well, you can't control the sun.
No. So anyway, I just think that things are changing. I do think that we're going to have hard times coming up, and I think a lot of things are coming.
Alrighty, I think I put two together. But what was your November, December like? We kind of already.
About being sick?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that overlap. We didn't show each other
that earlier.
We didn't let each other know what our questions were, and his are all personal and mine are all kind of news related. So, but yeah, I was very sick back in November,
Yes,
December. Had 103 temp,
Coughing.
all that kind of stuff. Coughing.
Hard.
Had that cough. It would try to go away. I would take a steroid. I would take the Z-Pack, and it would go away for a little bit, and then it would come back. And then finally, I had the fever. And that's when the cough went away, because my body finally started fighting whatever it was. Whatever it was, it finally fought it for a week. And
unlike me, you were pretty bad off. So you finally were like, that's it. I'm going to the doctor. So
I went twice.
Twice, did you?
Yeah. You took me and they tested me, and then
yeah,
I went again.
What's funny is
it was bad.
That's the part that I found the most curious is they tested you and nonchalantly, or just, they're doing their job and everything, but they're like, okay, well, it's not the flu. It's like, here, take this and be gone with you.
Be gone with you. Yeah.
Not like, oh my gosh, like.
Yeah, your fever's going to go up at night.
I bet you right now, with, people getting extra funding and stuff like
yeah.
that, they would probably like wine and dine you and say,
yeah.
hey, come on in, man, you got the COVID.
Yeah, you got the COVID.
But it was just funny. It's like, just deal with it. Get through it. It's life, And then we went from that to people getting the flu, or something like the flu. So what they said you had was something like the flu, but not the flu. And now now we're all gonna have to take this all seriously. And why didn't the CDC come
and investigate why people were so sick?
Why the whole town of El Reno was sick? That was more like an epidemic than 14 now or whatever that we have in this town right now.
So
not active right now.
Yeah,
14 people through this whole time have tested positive
for COVID in our town
in months.
Yeah. Okay.
But I can count on the hand of just walking through Walmart and people telling me that they were sick in November and December. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So, another news item is there's been a couple of really huge hailstorms in Mexico. They've had like softball, grapefruit size hail.
Never seen anything like that before.
Yeah. Well, we've had it here in El Reno before, but yeah. So anyway, some really bad hailstorms, and then all the flooding going on in Michigan and I think South or North Carolina, something. Virginia, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I should have figured that out.
Okay, so what's your question?
I don't have a question. What do you think about all that?
I'm thinking...
It's weather.
Strange weather happens. I mean, we normally get hail here in Oklahoma. And to be honest with you, even whenever we did get...
Baseball. Yeah.
No, bigger
softball.
Bigger than softball. These things were huge.
Yeah,
they came through our roof.
Yeah, they came through the roof.
They were humongous. But they were only like every 20 or 30 feet, just boom, coming down.
All together.
And to be honest with you, we didn't get any except for the little cheap truck that I just bought, got slammed right on the door handle.
Yeah.
And it put a humongous dent in it. But all the cars survived that. Our house didn't. We had to get the roof patched.
Yeah. But
it's a one-off thing, It came through, and we had some weird, huge hail. But man, we've been living here for 20-some years, and we haven't had one windshield. Oh, I'm just gonna jinx the crap out of
You are gonna jinx the crap.
We haven't had any damage to our vehicles, which is amazing for this area. Yeah. So it happened. It's just a one-off in Mexico. Something they'll talk about. Like what? That was 8 years ago now, 7 years ago,
Something.
a while ago.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened
Mm-hmm.
again since. So
yeah, it hasn't.
they'll be talking about that for years to come about
the big hail
big,
that they
big
got.
hail and stuff.
All right.
All right. And okay. We kind of went over this already. So I'm going to skip
Okay.
the one. It was daycare changes.
Okay.
And I was going to see your take on it, but
We've already
I don't
talked
even
about
think
that.
you can really change too much in a daycare.
You can't.
Unless you put them in
a little cage, a little bubble.
Which would be inhumane
Yeah.
and terrible.
Yeah.
And what would they think? They would
Little
think
bubble.
this is what life is, man. It's the new normal. Which is my next one.
Okay.
Okay. The new normal. Or back to normal.
I think there will be a new normal. I think they're going to force it upon us, whether we like it or not. And I still think a lot of changes are coming down the pike. I think a lot of stuff is happening, but I'll save some of that for Conspiracy Tuesdays. So what goes on in my mind. But I would like to see things back to normal.
Yeah. Definitely cannot be the new normal. This has got to just get through it and get back to normal. And I even was talking to one of my friends today on the phone, and it was funny because I've been saying the same thing. He's like, if I hear one more person say this is the new normal, I'm just going to go nuts. And because this isn't the new normal, this is just something that's happening, and it's going to pass, and we're going to just go back to being typical knucklehead Americans.
Yeah. We have to.
We have to.
That's what freedom's all about.
And it's only fair for, again, the kids that are growing and starting their futures. This cannot be the norm.
Yes.
They have to have just as much fun as we did whenever we were knuckleheads. All right.
They do. All right. So, Biden's going to choose a woman as his running mate. Who do you think that's going to be?
Oh, man, if I was a betting man right now, you know he's out the door. He can't even talk and everything, so we know he's just a puppet. I do. And they really are going to have somebody else be president. So it wouldn't be beyond me to be Michelle Obama or just to throw a wrench in everything, because I think Hillary is the queen of the DNC.
No.
They throw her back in just to sneak her in the back door, so she won't have to put up with Trump hitting her with hard questions and everything, or she got too much baggage.
No, I don't think it will be Hillary. He needs Michelle Obama. He needs Michelle Obama. They're vetting the senator from Minnesota. They're vetting her.
Oh, okay.
Her name is Amy, and her last name starts with a K. Can't pronounce it.
I think if he picks anybody in any of the states that are still locked down,
he'll lose. I think that's a losing battle.
That'll be the worst.
Yes.
Thing they could ever pick, because they would just lose. People are tired.
Como might be a good one, but
he's not a female.
He's not a female.
So he already put. This is how smart Biden is.
He's already put it out there that he's going to choose a woman.
It's going to be a woman. So now if he doesn't choose a woman,
that would be bad.
He can't do
that. So he has to choose a woman.
So
you're right.
It just canceled out.
Yeah, so it
now,
can't be.
Will they make him sick or something, drop him out, and then they just put in somebody like Cuomo to actually run as president?
I don't know. I have a problem. He can't choose. I know he's got the woman from Michigan on the short list, but he can't choose her. She's got that state in chaos.
I'm hoping that the young people are tired of being controlled in big government. Now, that used to be their base. They used to pander to the younger people that fought the establishment and all that stuff, right? Because they didn't think they were the establishment. Well, obviously,
but they are.
There's nobody bigger. I mean, Republicans are a big establishment, too. Let's get that straight, too. There's a lot of crooked Republicans along with Democrats. But right now, I think the Democrats are
rough.
Super.
They're
corrupted
trying
baggage, and They're all out to just look out for themselves.
Yeah.
But that's, again, my own
They're
personal...
trying to push a new agenda. And the new America.
The new world order. Did you hear what the Chicago?
Yeah.
The Chicago mayor.
Yeah, I heard that.
Actually came out and said, I'm going to do executive orders, and I'm only going to hire people that are willing to swear to uphold the executive orders. Mm-hmm. And she actually said, and the new world order. I mean, she didn't even hold it back. She just came out and said it. I was like, what? That was, I don't know. The whole world's gone mad, in my opinion.
They have.
But go ahead.
All right, so that's me.
All right, I think I'm done. I've probably skipped 2 because we already talked about them. Let's see. Oh, okay. This is a good one. Okay, in the last week, what has made you happy? And what has made you mad?
Oh, my goodness. It made me happy to see my grandkids this week.
Yes, it did.
And to get out.
It did.
And to get out.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They
came, spent the night. We hadn't seen them in 2 months. So it's been a long time. We really did respect the lockdown.
Yeah, we did.
We did. He worked.
I worked, and the people even I worked around were not scared of it. Personally, they all wish they could have just been working normal.
Yeah, but they all had masks.
They know that if one person gets it in my industry, then they're going to have to shut it all down, or else they're terrible people. So everybody, even though we could care less if we get it or not, we would rather just work normally and have crowds and everything. We all swore to behave ourselves. And I would go to work and I would come back home and I would go there. So that whole period that while I was working, I didn't
we didn't go around anybody.
Didn't go out.
He didn't go out. We didn't go out.
I didn't go shopping.
Out. No, we didn't go shopping.
I didn't do anything. I just locked down, did what they told me, and I was glad we actually pulled it off.
Yeah.
And nobody had it.
Yeah, so. Nobody had it. They got tested every time they went in.
Coming from around the
3 times he got tested for COVID. He doesn't have COVID.
No.
He doesn't have COVID.
So,
all right, so do you want me to wrap up then?
Yeah, wrap it up.
All right, well, I have 3 more things.
Okay, we'll keep them
coming. Oh, it was getting out. So anyway, going along with what you were just talking about, it was good to get out and see that Oklahoma was opening up the other day. The video I did the day before yesterday.
That was a fun one.
It was fun. We went by a lot of places. We didn't go into a lot of places.
No,
we went into Hobby Lobby.
We didn't go crazy sticking our head in everywhere. And we just drove by.
Yeah, we just went by places to see if Oklahoma was opening, if restaurants were opening, if retail was opening. And it seemed like only the restaurants that were struggling to begin with were staying closed.
Really first video of you shooting.
Oh, yeah, it was.
The B-roll.
Yes, and shooting some B-roll. I need to get better at that.
And you did good.
Yeah, I got a new camera, a new Canon camera. It's nice.
And you edited it up really good.
I did edit it up.
Voiceovers went really good. I think it's starting to come around for you. It looks like you're starting to get to be natural at it. So
anyway,
and we went into Big Lots and got these.
Oh, we did go in. Signs. We went to Big Lots and we went into Hobby Lobby.
Went to 2 places.
We went to 2 places.
Yep, for signage.
Yeah, I wore a mask. He held his breath.
I put on my mask at first.
Yeah, and it broke.
And it was like 2 weeks old.
And it broke.
And it broke. But nobody was looking at me like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was about half and half.
Half and half. Some people had it. Some people, I didn't see anybody disrespecting the people that did have it, and I didn't see the people disrespecting the people, and they weren't like, oh my gosh, he doesn't have a mask.
No.
None of that. And I think, people were like, it is what it is. So I wore the mask until I went into the second store, I think. Whenever I went into the second store, it broke, and I was just like, I'll just hold my breath.
So anyway, I have a whole bunch of stuff here about the Fed and the Dow.
Oh my goodness,
but that's a story for another day.
That's boring.
It is boring. I like all that.
I know you do
stuff,
like the finances.
Anyway, okay. So my last question.
Okay, last question.
Okay, last question.
Number 10.
Number 10. When are you going to start your YouTube channel?
Oh my goodness. I don't know what my format would be. I've had a couple ideas of if I were to start one, what they would be. And man, I think this is good because it's just two people that get a lot of younger people on YouTube, not too many people getting the older perspective. So I think this is really good. I think you got a good thing going. And I agree with all the stuff you do. You like to keep it simple. Simple life prepper. You do prep, but you're not crazy prep. Mm-hmm. You store food for a bad time. Mm-hmm. Not crazy, but you store some. And you're always living within your means. And I think there's a big niche market of people that either A, are already doing that, or B, there's probably some younger people that are like, oh man, we're just struggling. And then I couldn't make it a paycheck without, mm-hmm. being in serious trouble. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of people. I've always thought the only thing I could think of is I'm ornery. So it has to do.
He is ornery.
People might tune into me because they would like an ornery person's perspective mm-hmm. on what's going down. But then again, I don't know how many people already. You have to do something on YouTube that makes you relatable to mm-hmm. the people that are watching you and entertainable. I don't know if I've got those qualities.
You do.
So no idea right now.
You've been helping me a lot. Yeah.
Like I say, I would think it would be hard to have the time and everything, but our grandson is autistic, and we get together, and it's this. I always say it's Grumpy Grandpa and Autistic Johnny would be a good, because we have a great time together. We have good chemistry, but it's the autistic side of Johnny trying to put up with a grumpy grandpa. Mm-hmm. And he makes me laugh. I mean, he is very smart.
He is very smart.
But, he just can't communicate too good. But he's really smart. And, boy, he'll let you know how he's feeling. Mm-hmm. And I love that of him. I've never held back, and I've always spoke my mind. And Johnny speaks his mind mm-hmm. in his own way right. sometimes. Mm-hmm. But, man, if he wants to do something, by God, it's going to be hard to stop him mm-hmm. from doing it or getting mm-hmm. what he wants. And I think it would be hilarious, the two grumpy, ornery people together. And I think, it's good to show that autistic people are different in their own way, but they're still smart and that they are very, very great people. They're just, and I think a lot of people could relate to that. And it might be something that not too many people touch on. Mm-hmm. But I also don't treat him. I know he's different, and I do treat him special. But I think I try not to teach. Out of everybody, I think I just try to be normal to him. Mm-hmm. And, you do. And push him to learn the new, to say it right, mm-hmm. to talk, you know, and to pronunciate. He gets lazy whenever he talks, and he just starts mumbling. But if mm-hmm. you tell him to say it right, he'll say it right, and especially if he wants something, then mm-hmm. you tell him, well, you get it if you, and then he says it right. So maybe something like that other people might get some help on there if they have an autistic child or something. That's
definitely
all right. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you for all your help that you've been helping me.
You're welcome. It's been fun. Yeah. I like to dabble with toys and everything, mm-hmm. so I don't mind helping you set up the.
Yeah, he's got me all.
This set, and we bought some cheap equipment to get mm-hmm. going here, and I think it's looking pretty good for the amount of money we have spent.
Yeah. So it's been good. I think this has been a good segment.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for joining us with the weekly wrap up this week, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and got something out of it. And if you're still here this long in the video, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking the video. That would be great.
If you like listening to two old people just yap away on the couch, this is the show for you. The Friday wrap up.
The Friday wrap up. I'll have the news. He'll have the life stuff. So anyway, I want to thank you for joining us, and remember, until next time, keeping it simple is not the same as doing nothing.